we're here with Mike again. Mike, thank you again for coming.
Thank you.
Mike, you and I did a video about M&A,
Yep.
where you gave 3 tips for people who are selling their business.
did.
People loved it. Thank you everybody for commenting and asking questions. Everybody wanted to know,
Yeah.
what if I want to grow my business? What if I want to buy another company? What do I do? So we've asked you to
Yeah.
put together 3 tips for buyers. So please educate us.
Sure. Well, thank you for having me. So I have 3 quick tips that are every buyer should consider.
Mhm.
So the first one is when you're buying a business, make sure that you evaluate and manage and also mitigate your risks. Okay, so a buyer needs to do its diligence, its due diligence, because there's a lot more risks that come on the buy side than on the sell side.
When you're selling something, you're ending that process. When you're buying
That's
something,
right.
you're basically starting a whole new process. You
Correct.
gotta make sure there's no liabilities. You have to make sure you're not gonna get burned.
That's right. You make
Okay.
sure there's no skeletons in the closet
Mhm.
and no landmines waiting to trip off after it's on your watch.
Okay, so if somebody's inside a lawsuit, maybe that's not the best time to buy them.
Well, at least understand it and find a way to mitigate it in advance before you pay a bunch of money and it becomes your problem.
Completely understood. What is your number 2 rule?
So number 2 is make sure that what you buy and pay for is actually what you get.
Mhm.
So in a acquisition, you're acquiring a whole bunch of assets potentially. And those assets may have liens on them and they need to be transferred. So if you transfer a car, for example, you have a title, but a contract may not transfer as easy. So you may have to assign it, you may have to see whether or not it can be assigned. So if you're going to put out a bunch of money, make sure that all the assets you think you're getting can be transferred and actually do indeed transfer to you.
Make sure that you're really buying what you're paying for. So if there's something that needs a third-party signature, something
That's
that needs to
right.
be authorized, approved, all that needs to happen before. If not, you're buying a cat in the bag.
That's right. So, if you think you're buying a bucket of assets and a bank has a lien on those assets, a blanket lien, you need to make sure as a condition to close, before you pay the money, that lien gets released.
Absolutely.
And it can freely transfer over to you.
Love that. What's your 3rd rule?
So my 3rd rule is basically make sure that you allocate your purchase price and your dollars in the deal to properly incentivize both the owners and the management and key people to do what you need them to do subsequent to the transaction.
So create a win-win situation. When you're buying a business, you're creating one entity out of 2, and you need to create a win-win. Most of the managers are going to stay.
That's right.
Most of the people that manage that
That's right.
company and do deal with the clients are going to stay. So you got to make sure they feel
That's right.
a part of the new company.
You want them to pull in the same direction. You most likely need them to stay on for a period of time to make transition and smooth things over perhaps. And so you want to make sure they're properly incented to do that. People are rational actors and they may follow the dollars, in other words, to have a proper incentivization.
So 3 of your rules. Let me see if I can
Yeah.
remember. So 1 is mitigate your risk. Make sure you're not taking too much risk, because when you're buying something,
That's
there's so
right.
much more risk than selling it.
Exactly.
2nd rule, if I remember correctly, is make sure that what you paid for, you're actually buying. Make sure that
Correct.
those assets, those things are there, everything is signed for, delivered, there's no liens, there's no things that can hurt you in the future.
Correct.
3rd thing is think about a win-win. You're merging 2 entities together, and you got to make sure the players of the entity you're buying are going to be your players, and they're going to do what you need them to do.
That's right.
So you got to incentivize them correctly.
You got it.
Mike, brilliant again. Thank you.
Hey, thank you.
I hope you guys really listen. This is great advice, and hey, let's grow and buy some companies, right? See ya.